But yeah, probably you know that there are several explosions in other cities, and also in my hometown in Zaporizhia, where I grew up.
So have those explosions been, were they today or yesterday?
Yesterday was like in Kyiv and other cities, and today I've heard that it was in Vinnytsia and Zaporizhia and several other cities and
Right.
towns.
Okay. Now, yesterday was pretty bad. We saw the TV pictures. We saw the craters near that park, that children's playground in Kyiv. And you were there. Did you just take us through what happened yesterday and where you were and what you saw?
In the morning, I heard a few explosions. They were far away. After we brought with my husband our son to kindergarten, and after I went to the metro station, I was talking with my film editor who was in the center of Kyiv. She told me that she heard a very strong explosion very close to her. And I was just talking on phone like this, and I just saw explosion right in front of me. And all people went inside metro in panic, and I was like, said, oh, okay, Marina, like I will call you back. And after I went to check where was the explosion, because at the beginning I was thinking that it was a breach. But after I saw that actually they shot a power plant. And it was like so much smoke, and also after we didn't have electricity and water all day, no internet, no connection. Even I couldn't call with my normal like mobile phone to anybody. It was so super bad connection.
And how vulnerable did you feel yesterday? Did you, if the explosions had continued, would you have stayed in your home? Would you have gone to a shelter? What would you have done?
I was of course very afraid about my son, but he was in kindergarten, but in this kindergarten they have a bomb shelter. But for me, I'm not a good example, because I was already fighting on the front line, so I don't have the same level of I'm not that afraid.
Yeah.
But I would say that even like it's less scary when you're on the front line, that when you're completely in your normal life, it's much more scary. Because you feel powerless, and you don't have your protection, you cannot fight, you just only can observe it and do what necessary to do if you need to go to bomb shelter, or like and take care of your like family.
Yeah, well, I mean, on that, because obviously we've seen your little boy before, sitting on your knee, kind of just behind you. When you or your husband went to pick your son up from kindergarten, what was he all right? What did he have to say about the fact that there had been these really loud noises in a place where he probably thought has been quite safe for quite a while, quite quiet?
No, he heard explosion, but he's like 5 years old. For him, he's not taking all the events so dramatically. And the first thing he said to us, Mom, I didn't sleep in the midday. And it was so nice. Because we were in a shelter,
Yes, he didn't have his nap. Oh gosh.
Yeah, because he doesn't like to sleep when
Right. Okay. So he got out of his midday nap. That's good to hear. Alisa, I mean, I take your point earlier. You were saying that you'd feel, you're not a typical person because you fought with the Ukrainian army, so you don't feel that same fear. But I wonder, I mean, how much fear is there in Kyiv, where you are? Because people in Kyiv would have known that after, what happened with the bridge, that it was possible that Vladimir Putin was going to launch some kind of attack. And he did. But everything's quiet today. Are people just kind of, whatever happens, happens? We're not going to give up. We're not going to give in. So we just have to get through this.
Yeah, I think mood changes a lot in Kiev. There are still, I think, two categories of people. There are people who just used to it and who are ready to stay whatever happened. And there are still people, of course, who are afraid. And for example, there are lots of people who came back recently from abroad or from Western Ukraine. And now they're more afraid because they didn't used to it before. And also, for example, now in my house in Kyiv, there is one family from Zaporizhia. They were so afraid to stay in Zaporizhia because there was lots of bombing there. And they came to Kyiv because it was calm in Kyiv. And actually, yesterday, they felt that it's not calm here as well. So what to do? Like they have lots of doubts what to do now, like go to Western Ukraine, stay in Kyiv. And for this kind of people, it's much more complicated because they just escaped from one dangerous city and they came to another, which is supposed to be calm, but it's not calm anymore. And it's like, yeah.